good time, baby, can you take it slow, slow, slow? Wine up a good time, we don't need to rush.
Yeah, man, let's slow it down just a little bit. So that we don't end up inside the big truck. Greetings, 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 and salutations, one and all. Welcome to the night shift with DJ Kevin Stewart's Healthy Love Night. How you doing? I want to say big ups to each and everyone locked in right now, wherever you're locked in from. Those on TuneIn Radio on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew, much love to you. Those locked in across the pond on One Ham on the radio, top of the morning to you. Big ups King Genius, much love Queen Genius. Big ups to those who are locked in out of New Jersey on not Island Worldwide, that's New York. On NIE Radio. Much love, the motivator. Remember, you can catch the motivator live on Thursdays and Saturdays. Thursdays with Double Trouble Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Saturdays with Motivation Saturdays. Much love to those out of New York. Yeah, man, those on Island Worldwide. Yeah, man, this is the Island Worldwide crew. It's because New York and New Jersey, them right there next door to each other. The Island Worldwide massive exhibiting the power of music. China Nicole, Gary, big up yourself. Much love to a man who is big in New York. Has a history of doing radio in New York, but now based in South Florida. Much love, Mr. Lindsay. Big ups to those who are locked in on ClintonLindsay.com, the Foundation Radio Network. Much love to the Texas Massive. I know things are done bigger in Texas. This is why we have 3. I count them 1, 2, 3. 3 broadcast platforms out of Texas. Allowap Radio, Dusik Media Group, and WGLRO, the home of the Donnie Walker Morning Show, taking from the sheets to the streets, touching from Detroit to Denmark and all points in between. Much love, Donnie. want to say big ups to those who are locked in on PEMGTV.com. Those on Clubhouse, hanging out in the stew pot. Those on Facebook Live. Massive on Zeno FM, also in the stew pot. Now those on Clubhouse and Zeno FM, those on Clubhouse and Facebook, do remember, it's only a segment broadcast, so don't get too comfortable here. You're invited to come on over to the home of the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew, kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment. I want to say thank you to my sponsors. Paul C Media Group and Being in a Moment is priceless. Get them a call. What can they do for you? Everything you see here on kevinstew.com and more. You have a wedding, a seminar, a funeral, a party, a graduation, you name it. You want to stream it live on a secure platform, whether yours or theirs? No worries. Call 754-999-1140 and say, hey, Kevin Stew say you can hook me up with something. This is what I want to do. What can you do for me? That's 754-999-1140. 754-999-1140. Thank you, Paul C Media Group. Go ahead and give Althea SU a call. Why? Because she has the healing heavenly hands. Althea SU is a licensed massage therapist operating out of Broad County, North Miami-Dade and South Palm Beach counties. She comes to you, bringing her table, her oils, and over 20 years massage therapy experience. Go ahead and give her a call, 954-655-9000. Or email her at thealater@att.net. That's THEALATER@att.net. She only has one request outside of paying her, and that is get off her table and go sleep somewhere else when she's done. It's called the Kevin Stew Clause, because I'm always falling asleep on that table. She is that good. Go ahead and schedule your appointment today. If you're in Broad County, North Miami-Dade or South Palm Beach County, are you heading in that direction? Say, hey, Althea, Kevin Stew says you have the best massages in town, and you come to me? Let's make it happen. Want to say thank you to Reggae Global Entertainment. Reggae Global will act as your booking agent, handle your tour management, take care of your business registration, legal service referrals, music production, marketing and promotion, and so much more. Give them a call, 954-804-8199, or check them out online at reggaeglobal.com. Let them know you heard about them on a night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Want to say thank you to McNeil Trucking. McNeil Trucking is licensed and insured. They're licensed and insured movers in the state of Florida. With McNeil Trucking, your goods are in good hands. Get them a call, 954-406-9740. Want to move some stuff into storage? Want to move from point A to point B? Not quite sure about how to do it? No worries. Don't have the equipment, don't have the manpower, don't have the transportation. No worries. 954-406-9740 is the number you need. Call McNeil Trucking, tell them you heard about them on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Yeah, man, we need to slow it down sometimes, you know. You can't be just going like that. Who are you? Hey, Hey Jan, how you doing?
Everything up in the air. You pay for your own costume. You pay for your own.
Hello, Nadia.
On this road is yours. You don't intend to share. Girl, I don't say it before. Let me make it clear.
Invite him to call a friend, tell a friend, friends of your friends, friends of your enemies, enemies of your friends, and your enemies too. Because the information is good for everybody. We're not leaving anybody out. It's Healthy Love Night right here on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Numbers to call, numbers to text, 773-789-STEW. That's 773-789-7839. Those of you watching, you can see it scrolling across the bottom of your screen. 773-789-7839.
Wine have a good time, baby. Can you take it slow, slow?
You can call, you can text, you can WhatsApp, you can Telegram.
A good time, we don't need to rush.
Of course, you are invited to jump into the stew pot on kevinstew.com. Those of you wondering, what is the stew pot? It's what others call a chat room. But because we're fancy over here on kevinstew.com, we call it the stew pot. It's where we keep things interactive and bubbling. You don't need to register, you don't need to offer your firstborn an internal organ or any kind of blood sacrifice. Just go to kevinstew.com and you're there. You can remain anonymous if you want to. You can put your name. Let me know who I'm interacting with.
Baby, can you take it slow, slow?
And then we can take it nice and slow from there.
For good time, we don't need to rush. You tell me you don't care.
But sometimes people need to take it slow. Because they're getting all worked up and it's causing all kind of problems.
Let me make it clear.
Our topic tonight in Healthy Love: exercise-induced urticaria. What? Exercise-induced urticaria? Whatever could that be?
Inside the big truck, jumping all over the town, slow it.
Well,
I know you walk.
the sound of GBM Neutron kicking off things tonight. Thank you, GBM Neutron.
Inside the big truck, jumping all over.
Track called Slow It Down.
I know you walk.
Hey, Kadia.
Big truck, everybody watching, take it slow, slow, slow.
How you doing?
Wine have a good time, baby. Can you take it slow, slow?
Big up Nate from here.
Oh, wine have a good time, we don't need to rush. You tell me you don't care. Girl, I don't say it before. Let me make it clear.
So, there are some people that they just go. You know, going all the time. That is how they live. Always on the move, always high strung. You know, that's kind of just them. And those of you who were tuned in last week, or you caught the podcast, or you watched the YouTube video from last week, you'd have heard me talking about exercise and the importance of it. And Nurse Riley called in, Marva called in, and we talked a little bit about it and how it helps with heart health. But who would have thunk? Yeah, I said thunk. Who knew that something like exercise could cause people more problems than good? You know, I used to hear some people saying, boy, you know, this exercise thing, you can keep that because I'm allergic to it. And I'd of course give them the side eye, you know. What you talking about? Who is it? Who gets allergic to exercise? You're just making excuses now. Only to find out that it's a real thing. So we're looking at exercise-induced urticaria. And I guess the first thing to look at, or the first question to answer, is what is urticaria? Because I can't say that I've heard anybody use the word urticaria before. And if anybody has heard anyone use that word, feel free to let me know. If you're on Clubhouse, on Facebook Live, watching on YouTube, on kevinstew.com, wherever you are, if you're listening live on any affiliate stations, send me a text message, 773-789-STEW. Send me a message any which way you can. Have you ever heard the word urticaria used in a sentence? Prior to now, this moment. So you were how old when you heard urticaria? Hey Charlene, how are you, my dear? So I guess the simple way to describe urticaria would be to say hives. And I know there's somebody out there going, so why not just say exercise-induced hives? What's with this urticaria thing? Well, listen, I'm just a messenger, right? So don't shoot me. But that's what urticaria is, basically. It's hives. So, they're the little red, itchy welts that result from a skin reaction. And the welts vary in size and appear and fade repeatedly as the reaction runs its course. Hives. Now, who gets hives because they're doing exercise? Where does this exercise-induced urticaria come from? What is that? Now, it's a condition that gives you hives and other allergic symptoms. The hives or welts are large raised bumps on the skin, and they can occur on any part of the body. They often are redder around the edge than in the middle. Now, the fact that it can happen on any part of your body, that alone is concerning and uncomfortable. Just listening to that, just hearing that this can happen is uncomfortable. But they can also look like red spots, blotches, or blisters. Again, uncomfortable. So, according to familydoctor.org, the symptoms of exercise-induced urticaria include hives, itching of the skin, flushing, trouble breathing or choking feeling, stomach cramps, headache, swelling of the face, tongue, or hands. Now, some of these things are pretty much things that you see happening because you don't exercise. But here we are getting this because you do exercise. So, what causes it? Well, since it is exercise-induced, physical activity can cause some people to actually have allergic reactions. The exact cause, however, is unknown. So this is one of those times when you talk about it and you hear the X-Files or the Twilight Zone theme song playing in the background. That kind of a thing. So, because it is that much of a mystery. How does one go about diagnosing it? If you notice you have hives or other symptoms when you're exercising, the first thing to do is stop. Because, let's face it, you don't really know what is causing it anyway. And wherever it is that you're doing exercise, you need to move from that place because it could be something in the environment that is triggering your allergies. Especially if you didn't know you had allergies in the first place and then you started exercising and then boom, oh no, So you stop exercising. You contact your doctor if the hives don't go away within 5 to 10 minutes. The doctor will look at your symptoms and review your health history. They may order a skin prick test to check for allergies, or they may do exercise tests to see if the reaction occurs again. Which is kind of interesting because the first thing that I don't know if any doctors are listening right now, they can help me out here. But for me, the common man, I hear allergy. I hear allergic reaction. I hear symptoms that look like allergies. And I am not thinking exercise caused this. I'm thinking, what did you eat? Where did you go? What is around you for that you wasn't around you before? I'm not thinking what were you doing per se, as in the activity. Now, for someone that has this condition, you have to wonder, is there a way to prevent it or to avoid it? Because if they're walking from, well, let's say they live in a 2-story building and there's no elevator, they're going to end up doing some form of exercise, right? So how do you navigate that? How do you get around that? Now, you cannot avoid exercise-induced urticaria. So that's the first thing. You can help prevent flare-ups. You can avoid food, products, or types of exercise that trigger hives and other symptoms. And you can identify them by working with a doctor. But you're kind of stuck with it. You can't really prevent it or avoid it because it's just there. Right, Jan? How, think on these things. Medicines like antihistamines can help prevent and treat some symptoms. And in severe cases, symptoms may be life-threatening. But this is quite rare. Well, the condition in and of itself seems to be quite rare, because how many people have you heard actually suffering from an allergic reaction to exercise? Anyway, your doctor may prescribe a medicine called epinephrine. Now, we know about that from EpiPens. My boys used to always have to travel with EpiPens, especially my older one, because he had severe allergies around nuts when it comes to nuts. And apart from people being nuts, a lot of people ate nuts. So we had to make sure that when he was growing up that he had an EpiPen and knew how to use it. So as soon as symptoms start presenting themselves, you have to use your EpiPen. You have to inject this medicine. And so it works by stopping the symptoms before they become life-threatening. So when you know that you have severe allergies like that, yeah, epinephrine is your best friend. Now, people who have severe cases may need to avoid exercise altogether, which is crazy. But, there are some exercises that give you life and pleasure abundantly. And so how do you avoid those? Those don't fall under the realm of exercise. Because let's be real about it. We're looking at physical activities, things that make you break a sweat, right? You think about it. What are the things that you do that are not considered exercise but could make you break a sweat? Yeah, like dancing. But you have Zumba and dancercise. soca-cise, and all these other exercises while dancing. But dancing in and of itself will make you break a sweat. But there are other activities that make you break a sweat too, which are not considered exercise, but you can burn some calories doing it. And how you work that out when you have this condition? Yeah, that looks like a gloomy day for those suffering from exercise-induced urticaria. Now, so the people who suffer from this condition have to, or have to try to avoid exercise altogether. Other people may be able to exercise if they avoid triggers. Well, if exercising is the trigger, how are you gonna exercise? With those that it is triggered by certain kinds of foods, well, of course, you stay away from those. Now, if you notice a pattern in your symptoms, when it comes to the food, you need to stop eating that food. And if hives and symptoms also stop, then tell your doctor that. They'll probably say, okay, that is what you need to stay away from. Again, you go to a doctor and tell them what is going on with you so that they can give their expert opinion. But all in all, you have to share the information. The doctor may tell you not to exercise for 4 to 6 hours after you eat. So it could be a reaction caused by how you are digesting food or how the food is producing energy. Why would a doctor tell you not to exercise for a certain time after you eat? Jenny says, so those other activities that could make you break a sweat, you should do them slowly. But even then, Jan, at some point in time, you break a sweat. You know what I mean? Ooh, boy, I don't know. Most symptoms can be controlled with medications. And they're usually prescribed medicines. And you take them according to your doctor's orders. Pay close attention to your body and the reactions that it has. Side effects from these medications could cause problems too. Slow down. Just like GBM Neutron said in a song that we kicked off the broadcast with, slow it down. Or stop exercising as soon as symptoms start. Exercise with a partner who knows about your condition. If you have a history of severe symptoms, carry your EpiPen with you in case of emergency. But I guess this is where, the slow part really comes in, Jan. Exercise with a partner. So, are there some questions that you'd need to ask your doctor? Well, familydoctor.org says, well, you could ask a few. Like, get an understanding of what hives are. So you ask the doctor, what can cause my hives? What are my symptoms? Are my symptoms considered mild, or are they considered severe in the grand scheme of things? Could my hives turn into something worse? That's a good question. What is the best way to get rid of hives once I have them? Now, we're problem solving at this point. Comment here. I think it could be a form of vitamin deficiency, maybe vitamin B. Well, if you're getting vitamin S and it's causing hives, then I don't know. But that's an interesting point, though, Jan, that it could be a vitamin deficiency or a mineral deficiency. You could ask your doctor Are there medicines I can take to prevent and treat my symptoms? How long do I have to take the medicines? And what are the side effects? That's a super important question right there. Side effects and duration of time. Because some people get prescribed medication and they just take them forever. Not with no end in sight kind of a thing. And, you know, at some point in time, you have to cut the strings. You know, should I have an EpiPen in case I have a life-threatening reaction? Are there certain things that trigger my condition? Will I ever be able to exercise again? What kind of exercise can I do? How about this? If you're exercising and it is causing you hives, if you swim, would that be the same thing? Because typically you think exercise, you think breaking a sweat. Has anybody ever seen someone sweat while swimming? Right. Because you're in water. You won't know anyway. So if taking a shower, hanging out in a pool, in the ocean, whatever, a lake, if none of these things cause you to have hives, could dancing in the shower prevent you from having hives? Could swimming, let that be your exercise, could that prevent you from having hives? And if you do have hives, if you're swimming, is it because you're swimming in a swimming pool, or is it because you're in the ocean? If you go to the ocean any other time and you're not swimming, you're in the water and you're not getting hives, but then you swim, does it mean that because you have turned up the amount of energy that you're putting out, that is causing your hives? I don't know. Maybe we should look at that. Maybe I should try to see if I find anything about swimmers suffering from exercise-induced urticaria. I didn't think of that until just now. So maybe that's something I could add to this if we have time. But speaking of time, it's about time we take a quick break. So those of you who are on Facebook Live, go ahead and use the link that is pinned in the comment section. Come on over to kevinstew.com for the remainder of the broadcast. Those on Clubhouse, this is where we part company. We're going to take a quick little break and we come back and we look at this some more, some more information about this phenomenon called exercise-induced urticaria. Crazy new, but still, well, maybe not new, but new to us. Is it new to you? Call a friend, tell a friend, friends of your friends, friends of your enemies, enemies of your friends, and your enemies too, because they could possibly be suffering from this. I know you probably won't want to tell them if they're suffering from this, and you'd want them to exercise just a little bit more to see if it could kill them, but that's not a good thing, okay? Be nice. Tell everybody, come on over. 773-789-STEW is the number to call and get you in touch. 773-789-7839. Call, text, WhatsApp, Telegram. Let me hear from you. Tell me your views. It's Healthy Love right here on the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. We're going to be right back.
Pulse Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Pulse Media Group.
for those of you who haven't done so yet, go and visit my Mary Kay platform. Yes, I am an independent Mary Kay consultant, and there are products out there just for you. I got into this because of the skincare products that they have. Go and check it out and see what works for you. MaryKay.com/Kevin Stew is the link to use. You can go over there and get the Mary Kay Naturally Exfoliating Powder. It is awesome. It can be used in a myriad of ways. Use it with some moisturizer and as an exfoliant for your face, your hands, your feet. It can be used on pets. It can be used on in your kitchen, in your bathroom. It is so versatile. You can go ahead and check it out, but don't waste it on your kitchen and your bathroom. Use it on yourself, your face, your hands, your feet. Mary Kay Naturally Exfoliating Powder. Go ahead and capitalize on that today and buy something for yourself. Treat someone else if you wish. There is the Mary Kay pedicure set that is a limited edition and available right now. Go to marykay.com/Kevin Stew and get and order your products today. Coming up this Saturday and every Saturday at Eats 876 downtown Fort Lauderdale is Rhythms of the Heart. It's a GMAT Music Solutions production, and this Saturday features Phil Watkis. Come on out, ladies, you're free all night. Doors open at 8. The live performance starts at 9. There'll be a DJ also there. Come on out. It is guaranteed to be a great time. It's at Eats 876 at 627 South Andrews Avenue, downtown Fort Lauderdale, just next door to the Publix. Come on out, see you there. It's Rhythms of the Heart.
Come on, smile. Oh, honey, he's still not smiling.
Maybe he's not a smiler.
Yeah, maybe he's just not a happy baby.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Or maybe he's teething.
Maybe it's just a phase.
Maybe he has autism, and we can definitely do something to help.
Maybe is all you need to find out more about autism. No big, joyful smiles by 6 months is one early sign. Learn the others at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Reggae Global Entertainment presents the brand new self-titled album from Yishka with 9 great songs. Oh, Baby, Let Me Love You.
Oh, baby.
Be Grateful for Life.
Be grateful for life.
Shake You Down.
Girl, I wanna shake you
What else can I do?
What else can I do?
Babe, Come Over.
Baby, come over.
My. It's our time
You know I love you.
for your love.
For your love, I would do anything.
I'm Falling.
I'm falling in love again.
Yishka. 9 great songs. Available on all streaming platforms.
You sure look good tonight.
Available now.
Hey, I'm representing for DJ Kevin Stew, working on the night shift radio show. Won't go changing like the weather, just to please the devil never. Will DJ Kevin Stew sell his soul? That's a word and honor. It's Christine representing word and honor. Still I say DJ Kevin Stew.
Busy bars are packed. I'm lost in the crowd. There you are, standing in the back. Can't hear what you're saying 'cause the music's so loud. Come take my hand, let's dance. Tonight's your chance. Make me feel so good. Tonight's your chance. chance. Make me feel so good. Come take my hand. Let's dance. Tonight's your chance. Make me feel so good. Let's dance. Your chance. Make me feel so good. Let's dance. Tonight's your chance. Make me feel so good. Let's dance.
The sound of Rachel Davy Lee bringing us back from the break. A track called Makes Me Feel So Good.
Make me feel so good.
And some things just make you feel that good, right? But when those things cause you to have an allergic reaction, how do you deal with that? You know, I'm still recovering from the fact that I can't eat shellfish anymore. And I developed a shellfish allergy. I was about 11 when that happened. So throughout those first few years of life, I would enjoy eating shrimp and crab and lobster. And, you know, crab season would roll around in Jamaica, and I'd on the way home, save my money for the weekend and buy crab on the way home. And a friend of mine, we would stop by his house because it's on the way to mine because we're walking home. And we'd sit on his veranda and we'd eat crab. It's a thing. And they would have pepper swims. Yeah, I said swims because I guess the person who was selling the shrimp couldn't really say shrimp. And they said swims. But it was so good. And when you visited the National Stadium for any athletic event, especially champs, there would be people walking through the stands selling peppered shrimp. And it was amazing. And then all of a sudden I developed an allergy. Some people love exercise. And to know that here it is, they do this thing that makes them feel so good, and then they can't. Like the story that is told by about Chris Nages, and that her name is spelled Naatjes. So I guess it's not G's. And this article, according to The Healthy, says Chris Naatjes loves jogging and walking. Well, she used to. Until she started to notice a strange reaction whenever she stepped outside to get some exercise. I would get bright red welts, usually on my legs, says the 52-year-old mother of 5. Well, I guess that speaks to the activity that I was alluding to earlier. You know. Yeah, but to be real, sexual activity tends to be a high energy activity. So this woman had 5 children. So I don't know if they were by artificial insemination or she went through the fun-loving act of the horizontal mamba. But here it is. She says when she went out to do exercise, to walk or to jog, she would get these bright red welts, usually on her legs. And it could be anywhere on my body, she says. And it was insane. It was insanely itchy. I had to stop immediately and just itch like crazy. That was kind of my dilemma when I was eating the shrimp. When I discovered it the first time, my tongue was just itching like crazy. No, nowhere else, just my tongue. Now, it didn't happen every time she exercised. Instead, she observed that the rash mainly flared up when her skin was cold, which happened relatively often because she lives in Minnesota, which, yeah, it gets cold there. The worst is when my body is hot from exercising, but my skin is cold. And it's so bad that I just know now that I can't exercise. If there's so much as a cool breeze, no exercising can happen. Now, what was happening to her wasn't a creative excuse to get out of exercising. What it was, she wound up being diagnosed with an actual exercise allergy. I just want to know how long it took them to figure that out. What were the things that she was doing? How long did they do those tests? So, of course, the question is, can you be allergic to exercise? Well, clearly you can. Christopher Scott Little, PhD, is an associate professor of immunology in the Department of Biomedical Sciences, Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine. And Dr. Little says that in some people, exercise can trigger an allergic reaction where the blood releases histamines, which are the naturally occurring chemicals that are part of your immune system's defense against environmental invaders. When the histamines react to harmless stimuli like exercise or tree pollen, they cause an overreaction in your body, which is why you end up with seasonal allergies. Now, that immune reaction causes the allergy symptoms, often in the form of an itchy rash, and in very rare cases, it can cause anaphylactic shock. Yeah, where your throat closes up, and you can't breathe and you die. Yeah, that kind of anaphylactic shock. Yeah, that. Vivek Cherian, MD and internal medicine physician in Chicago, raises a noteworthy point. Technically, this is not an allergy, as the definition of an allergy is when the body has an immune response to a particular substance, be it pollen, dust, or peanuts, for example. Dr. Cherian explains, in the case of exercise-induced allergy, you do get symptoms that are similar to allergy, but the cause is not because of a specific substance or allergen. What exactly then is happening is as a response to exercise. That is a bit of a mystery. And quite the mystery too, because here it is, this mother of 5. She would have to have had some kind of reaction getting these 5 children at least one of them comment here in the stew pot. I wonder if there's an emotional component behind that trigger allergic symptoms. So then you're wondering if it is psychological. So is it okay? So in her case, she loves exercising. This Nanjeet, is that her name? That's not her name. Her name is Chris Natjees. Yeah. So here it is. She loves exercising. And what was happening with her is that when she was exercising when it was cold, she would have these allergic reactions. Now, could it be could there be an emotional component to it? I guess there could. But what would be that emotional trigger? Because with something like that would usually be trauma related, right? So what would then be the trauma? I'm just thinking out loud with you. 3221. So here we are. There are 2 main types of an exercise allergy. It's more common and causes hives. The exercise-induced urticaria, whose scientific name is simply urticaria. The most common symptoms are rashes, hives, itchiness, redness, hot spots on the skin. things like that. And the hives can also cause headaches, stomach cramps, mental fog, and swelling of the tongue or hands. It's usually mild and stops on its own when you stop exercising. And some people are probably wondering, what's the difference between hives and rashes anyway? Well, if we have time, we're going to look at that. But let's look at the rest of this information first. The second type of exercise allergy is exercise-induced anaphylaxis. And this is considered very rare, but it can be fatal. And in this case, Dr. Little explains, the histamines trigger an anaphylactic reaction, similar to what some people experience with bee stings or with peanut butter, or nuts altogether. This reaction can cause your body to go into shock, your throat close up, your heart stop, boom, you're dead. So you need to have your EpiPen, your epinephrine present. You have to have it ready to go. Now, who is at risk of this exercise allergy? The Mayo Clinic research in 1997 suggests that exercise-induced urticaria was relatively rare, though at that time the researchers reported that cases were increasing. All right. Why were cases increasing in this rare allergy? Now you can start thinking environmental. What has been happening with food? What has been happening in the environment, in the atmosphere? Now you can start connecting those dots and see what has been happening. How has things been changing over time? Has the people that are starting to show symptoms, do they live in a particular geographic area? What has been the changes in those areas? Now, these are the questions that you're going to have to start asking at this point, right? Well, those are the questions that I would ask. The Mayo Clinic researchers' findings suggest that women were more likely to experience this condition than men, and half the sufferers had a history of eczema, asthma, or reactions to airborne allergies, or allergens, sorry. Okay. Which now leads to more questions. They noted that exercise-induced urticaria was mostly likely to occur when an individual had exercised in a very warm, humid, or cold environment. They also reported that a single reaction generally lasted under 30 minutes. Current research echoes that cases remain quite rare, while also leaving room for a good deal still to be discovered about the condition. In March of 2022, just a couple months ago, a team of physicians in Florida reported on a case study involving a 22-year-old Asian male who experienced a widespread rash when he went running. The researchers stated past science has found that it was relatively more common for exercise-induced urticaria to come on after an individual had eaten a certain food. However, in this particular case study, 4 hours had passed since the individual had eaten. So, wait. If it is after an individual had eaten a particular food or certain types of food, then is it really exercise-induced? Or is it because of the food that they ate, and now that they're doing something more strenuous and their body is breaking this down and it is coming out in their pores because they're sweating, now their skin is starting to have a reaction? Could that be it? Dr. Cherian says, for most people, exercise-induced urticaria is a problem that solves itself when you stop the activity. For me, the itch and the rash go away as soon as my skin warms back up, is what Nat G's says. So, doing exercise and being out in the cold, then her skin, her urticaria, her allergies act up. But if she's not exercising and she's out in the cold, then she's fine. She needs some more studying done on her, There's so many questions. The symptoms often ease as your skin temperature normalizes, but if it doesn't, you can speak with your doctor about taking an over-the-counter antihistamine. Dr. Cherian says if symptoms persist for more than a few hours, it may definitely be time for you to call your doctor about other options. They will likely want to rule out other causes for your rash, like food or environmental allergens. If you show any signs of an anaphylactic reaction, including swelling in your throat or mouth, inability to breathe, chest pain, or loss of consciousness, then you require emergency medical care and you should carry an EpiPen. It just might save your life. And he says the best way to treat an exercise allergy is to prevent triggering one in the first place. So don't exercise. The answer probably isn't to forego physical activity forever. But you said don't do it, doc. So are you saying do it or don't do it? Or do it till you're satisfied? Where do you draw the line? Dr. Cherian says you might consider exercising indoors in a climate-controlled environment and wear clothing that keeps your skin from overheating or becoming chilled. All right, you're exercising. Let's start there, doc. We're exercising. The heat doesn't come from the outside when you're exercising. Your body is generating the heat. So now it is dissipating. So how do you prevent the heating part? How does one exercise and just be chill? Because I've done physical. I've played ball in 30 something degree weather, and I was breaking a sweat, sweating like a pig. And you could watch on TV. These sporting activities that take place in cold environments. These people are going to be sweating also. So is it, how do you find the balance? How do you answer the questions as to where the trigger is? Because the person that is exercising in the cold that has an allergic reaction, when they're not in the cold and they're exercising, does it happen? Well, in the case of Chris, she was saying if it's cold or if it's too warm, then she breaks out in hives. How do you find that middle ground? Because it's cold, you exercise, you're going to get hot. So it's going to feel like it's hot on the outside, but it's cold on the outside, and then you have the reaction. If it's warm on the outside and you exercise, then it's going to be hot on the outside, and it's going to feel hotter than it actually is. And it is so confusing, and there are so many questions, and we have no answers. How did they come up with this one? So, Doc says, need a Goldilocks environment. That one is just right. Where do they find that at? Where do we go for a Goldilocks environment? Where has the perfect temperature? And here you go again. What is considered perfect? What works for this individual? What will work? And does it work all the time? So Doc goes on to say, don't exercise. That's the best way to deal with exercise-induced allergies. Don't exercise. Don't do the things that can cause your body temperature to rise internally. That creates an external response, i.e. sweating, which then would trigger your allergy. Because at no point in time in here are they saying that the allergy is caused by sweating. They're saying it is caused by exercise. So do we need to go a little bit deeper down into this rabbit hole to figure out what is going on? Or is it as simple as what is coming out of your body in your sweat that is reacting with your skin that is causing this allergic reaction? Was that question asked? Because in my reading, I haven't come across it yet. So Dr. Cherian says that for many people, it's just fine to continue to exercise if you want. However, if you're like Chris, not Cheese, the itching might make it too uncomfortable. Work with your doctor to identify your triggers, and they can help you come up with a workout plan that could help you stay comfortable. Dr. Cherian advises this might mean during the winter, you swap outdoor runs for indoor swims, and that you dress in layers to help moderate your body temperature. Okay, so why not just swim all the time? You're not going to be breaking a sweat, so just swim. Let that be your exercise. Right, what is the disruption in the individual's internal ecosystem? That is the question. Thank you, 3221. That's the question. And do we have any answers? Because none of this information that I've come across has given me any real answers yet. They're I don't even want to say it this way, but they're being doctors. They're not telling you anything that you didn't tell them before. They're just saying it to you and making it sound, I don't know, cool. Making it sound sciencey. You know, not throwing any shade on my doctors out there. But come on, give me something here. Anything. This is one of those situations, this is one of those conditions that you can't just say it exists because it exists. Or maybe you can, and maybe you should. Just leave it right there. But if we can find where it was first documented that something like this has happened, and then you can find where it has increased in frequency, then we need to be checking what is happening in that environment, because every allergy that you can think of is as a result of something else happening. And this is probably why that other doctor said, hey, listen, whoa, this doesn't really fall under the umbrella of allergies as we know it, because allergies are the result of something external reacting with you, or something that you have consumed, still something external acting on you internally. You know, so how does exercise become an allergy or trigger an allergic reaction? It has to be the sweating. So really and truly, they need to be looking at Chris's diet. Let's really see what it is that she's consuming, change up her diet, and see if when she exercises, it still causes the hives. Because she's 52 years old. Are we saying that she has gone through this all her life? As a child, when she was running around playing, did she break out into hives when she was sweating? There's that part of the story is not there at all. We don't have that answer. So when did this start for Chris? I knew, like I said, my allergic reaction to shellfish started when I was about 11. So what did I do? I stopped eating shellfish. But I guess you can put a finger, you can point to something on that, in that case. With this woman, when did she start having this reaction? What happened in her life? Could it be because of a hormone? I didn't even think of that. 3221. Could it be hormonal? But here it is. This guy that did the test in Florida, where he had the rare condition, exercising 4 hours after he had eaten, and breaking out in hives. What's his story? What is in his environment? What did he drink? What did he eat? Here's a scientific experiment that they should probably try. Let's see what's in their sweat. Let's go back to that. What do they find in their sweat? Did they test their sweat? Or did they just go off what they heard happened, what they see happening when these individuals exercise? Did they try the same food from another geographic location? Things that make you go, We're going to take another quick little break. When we come back, we talk just a little bit more, then we get into musical therapy. I don't know if the musical therapy will help exercise-induced urticaria, but we're going to have musical therapy nonetheless. We'll be right back after these messages. Call your friends, tell your friends, friends of your friends, friends of your enemies, enemies of your friends, and your enemies too. 773-789-STEW gets you in touch. Call, text, WhatsApp, Telegram. Come on over. Jump into the stew pot on kevinstew.com. Let me hear from you. We'll be right back after these messages. If you go somewhere, come back with somebody. All right? We'll be right back. Matthew 28:19 says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." With this in mind, and encouragement received during a South Florida media conference, The Church Links was birthed. The Church Links is an interdenominational worship service portal for churches, providing the tools to spread the word through technology in a cost-effective way. The Church Links, www.dahchurchlinx.com. Your links to worship and praise.
Making great music is one thing, sharing it with the world, that's another. Let the professionals at Reggae Global Entertainment help you to another level. Specializing in artist management, booking, public relations and marketing, and promotion, Reggae Global Entertainment can help you with event planning, websites, photography, and video production, press releases, legal services, and graphic design. They can even help you with music production, so you can get the sound that you want every time. Call Reggae Global Entertainment at 954-804-8199. That's 804-8199. Or visit them online at reggaeglobalentertainment.com. Teddy Greaves Jr. with 6 brand new songs out now on his brand new EP, Teddy Greaves Jr. with songs you know and love like Can You Stop the Rain? One Last Cry. Can't Get Over You. Wait Too Long. You and I. And One Last Cry, the acoustic version. Teddy Greaves Jr., now available on all major digital platforms. Teddy Greaves Jr.
When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.
Yes. Sakar Mantino, I'm making notes right now. You are locked in to DJ Kevin Stew on the night shift.
People are afraid, they are petrified. It have them locked up in a them house, them don't want to go outside. All of the clubs and pubs locked down, I can't even dance to my champion sound, but I stay strong. Ready for self-isolation, Sean. Now we're under attack, drones from out of space. So if you're going out, put gloves on, put a mask over your face. Me all I wrap up my dreadlocks and bring my cleansing cream with me. Maintain a good personal hygiene and stay 3 meters away from me. So I say go straight out the door. Coronavirus, you're not welcome anymore. Were you the one who tried to make me lay down and die? You think I'd grumble? You think I'd lay down and cry? I will survive. I will survive. Just as long as I know how to live, I know I'll stay alive. Clean out your house good, disinfect and sterilize. I got my ceiling fan, domestos and my beer on by my side. Hope and pray the NHS don't fall apart. Big up the doctors and the nurses, we keep them in our thoughts. All those hours that them working just to keep people alive. Maximum respect due to all of you. My heart is full of pride. Now you see me say respect you. I'm not that selfish person in that supermarket queue. So if you feel like pushing past vulnerable people and I see all that anger that's inside, you don't want to upset me. So I say go straight out the door. Coronavirus, you're not welcome anymore. Were you the one who tried to hurt me with your lies? You think I'd grumble? You think I'd lay down and cry? Oh no, not I will survive. Yeah, as long as I know how to live, I know I will survive. People, clean out your house good, disinfect and sterilize. I've got my ceiling fan, domestos and my beer on by my side. So if just like me, you have lost good friends, and you don't know if it's corona or government and murder them. Hello? One thing I know, just make sure you not end up in a hospital. Me not go make no doctor joke me. Me not take no vaccination. So I say go straight out the door. Coronavirus, you're not welcome anymore. People, clean out your house good, disinfect and sterilize. I've got my ceiling bang, domestos and my beer on by my side. Now they say that domestic abuse is on the increase because of all them dirty liars and them bedroom cheats. True lockdown, them can't sneak out, and their lover is all alone. So they keep texting, sending messages to your mobile phone. Your partner find out, and them get vexed. Them sip your naked picture, worse than that, them read them intimate text. Oh, but just like Shaggy, you tell them, no, it wasn't me. No, you see all this corona causing your misery. So she say, go, sleep on the floor. As far as she's concerned, you're not gonna get her zoom anymore. She treat you good, she treat you like a king and a man. And just because you couldn't keep your little something in your pants, so I say go straight out the door. Coronavirus, you're not welcome anymore. Were you the one who tried to make me lay down and die? You think I'd crumble? You think I'd lay down and die? No, to all those shopkeepers who are going to thief. What was £1.99 is £3.45 this week. Oh, now let me send out a little warning to all of them. I will send for all my friends, thief out your things and share with them. So I say go straight out the door. Coronavirus,
the sound of Mike It Up and the Friendly Fire Band. Haven't played this one in a minute.
I've got my ceiling fan, domestos and my beer on by my side. I will survive.
But through it all,
we'll survive. Yeah,
we have survived.
I know know how to live. I know I'll stay alive. Hey.
So the people that are suffering from this condition here called exercise-induced urticaria. No, I can't even talk again. Wait, name. Exercise-induced urticaria. That's yeah. Basically, exercise-induced allergies. You know, could it be something like a new virus that has triggered some of these reactions in some people? But then again, this has been going on from when? It's not anything that is new. So yeah, Corona can't get blamed for this one. But I said we'd look at the difference between a rash and hives, because that was a question that came to mind when I was looking at this information also. Now, the two can be easily confused, and courtesy of information provided by the healthy.com says the difference between hives and rashes happen to be a question that people all around ask, because people often get them mixed up. The term rash generally applies to an inflammatory skin condition, so hives are a type of rash, says Jennifer Siegel, MD, founder of Metropolitan Dermatology Institute in Houston. However, much like a square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not a square, not all rashes are hives. Hives are a very common skin condition that results from the allergic immune response to a wide variety of triggers. Again, an allergic immune response to a trigger. The hives that people get, and that's probably why they don't call it exercise-induced hives, although urticaria is a hive, or is hives. They're not going to call it hives because of the simple definition of what hives is. Kind of crazy, right? Why do they call it urticaria and not hives? Anyway, wide variety of triggers. These triggers could include medicines, illness, allergies, foods, heat, cold, stress. That is something we didn't consider. But with the exercise, it's stressful. So the healthy.com, they spoke with skin experts to get the scoop on how to differentiate between hives and rashes, as well as how to treat them, and hopefully how to prevent them from coming back. So what is a rash? Any kind of eruption on the skin. There are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of kinds of rashes, says Kelly Bickle, MD, a board-certified dermatologist in Santa Monica, California. One of the most common rashes is eczema, a group of conditions where otherwise known by their various names, including atopic dermatitis, contact dermatitis, seborrheic dermatitis, all these names. Now, eczema affects more than 31 million Americans, according to the National Eczema Association. Didn't even know such an organization existed. But I guess you can have an association for anything, right? When the skin's barrier, the outermost layer of the epidermis, isn't functioning properly, your skin can flake and become scaly, which can result in an eczema rash. Psoriasis, no T. Psoriasis is another common skin condition affecting more than 8 million Americans. And according to the American Psoriasis Foundation, see, It often appears as a rash and is frequently caused by an infection or stress. Meanwhile, rosacea, is there an organization for this one too? Affects more than 14 million Americans. And according to the American Academy of Dermatology, okay, so it's not a rosacea association. It can cause you to have redness on your face as well as red spots or bumps and flushing of the skin. Medically known as urticaria, hives are red swollen skin patches triggered by histamine release. And it says pediatric dermatologist Sheila McGuinness, or is that a new way to spell Sheila? That's interesting. It's Sheilagh. So the G is silent, as in night. So it's Sheila McGuinness, MD and associate professor in the Department of Dermatology at the University of Minnesota Medical School, and the co-founder of Strike Club skincare line for teen boys. The area is often also itchy, she adds. Now, unlike other types of rashes, which can last for days, weeks, months, or even years. No, that would be unfortunate. Excuse me. Any rash lasting more than a couple of days is really, really, really unfortunate. Anyway, unlike other types of rashes, which can last for days, weeks, months, or even years, hives last no more than 24 hours. However, in some instances, hives can be chronic, meaning they recur for longer than 6 weeks, as explained by Papri Sarkar, MD, a dermatologist in Newton, Massachusetts. The causes of hives typically are varied, but the same triggers pop up over and over, including stress, extreme temperatures, medicine infections, and allergic reactions to foods, pets, pollen, says Jeffrey Fromowitz, MD, a board-certified dermatologist in Boca Raton, Florida. Let's pause for a moment. Given the information that we've gotten earlier, things that we've been addressing, when you look at hives being triggered by stress, extreme temperatures, medicines, infections, and allergic reactions to foods, those that suffer from urticaria as a result of exercise, so they get hives because they're exercising, doesn't this come back to the extreme temperatures? Doesn't this also come back to the stress? Because although it's relaxing, it produces, it's a stressful activity, meaning that it puts a strain on your body in some type. It pushes the limits of your body when you're exercising. So, by definition, you're talking about a stressful activity. Yes? And it causes extreme temperatures. So, here it is, we know why it happens. If you see raised areas or have especially itchy patches on the skin, then you're probably dealing with hives. Hives are a very distinctive type of rash with raised welt-like lesions, says Dr. Seagal. By contrast, rashes are not always itchy, depending on the type of rash that you have. And this is what your itchy skin can reveal about your health. You know, when depending on if it actually itches or doesn't itch, you know, what is going on with you. Now, hives are distinguishable by their telltale appearance. Expect them to feel itchy and to look red and raised. Hives are typically raised pink or red welt-like lesions that are either localized in one area or generalized over the whole body. They're typically itchy and occasionally warm, generally uncomfortable. That cannot be fun at all. They may also be the same color as your skin, unlike rashes, which generally are only red. Hives is one of the medical conditions often mistaken for allergies. So with allergies, you get rashes and not hives? I'm so confused now. So, can hives be dangerous? Well, they're extremely common, but severe hive reactions that tend to have a hereditary or genetic source are rare. Still, in some cases, hives can be dangerous and can lead to swollen lips or a swollen tongue, which can affect breathing and require immediate medical attention. Chronic hives are not as dangerous, but they are still troubling. Some people are prone to hives and have a lower threshold for reacting to environmental stimuli. The hives can either be fairly continuous or wax and wane, such as worsening or improving seasonally or based on location. If you have chronic hives, see your doctor to diagnose the underlying cause. It's likely allergies or an autoimmune disorder, although stress is another common trigger, which can also trigger eczema, which isn't a hive but a rash. Rashes, yeah, I'm not staying with that one. I'm just moving right along with it. Rashes vary depending on the type of underlying skin condition. For example, a single shingles rash will probably not look the same as a psoriasis rash. Still, rashes do tend to have certain identifiable characteristics. Rashes are usually identified or defined by changes in color or texture of the skin, says John Schaff, board-certified physician's assistant at Stockton Dermatology in Phoenix. Rashes don't always itch either, unlike hives, which are always itchy. On the other hand, similarly to hives, certain types of rashes may itch excessively, especially if the rash stems from something irritating, such as poison ivy. Other rashes, such as shingles, also known as herpes zoster, may even be painful. Although both hives and rashes generally require similar treatment, there are subtle differences in how you actually treat them. With hives, the line of first defense is oral antihistamines. Equally important, identifying the root cause of the hives in order to potentially eliminate any triggers is something to note. Some hives are caused by friction or pressure, such as clothing that's too tight, while others are launched by sun exposure. Just naming a few causes. By pinpointing what's causing the hives, you can prevent future outbreaks. And this may include wearing loose or more breathable clothing in the case of friction-based hives, or avoiding sunlight and staying in the shade if you have sun-induced hives. But when you have exercise-induced hives, I guess all you can do is not exercise or do things that mimic exercising. Another common cause of hives has to do with extreme temperatures or extreme temperature changes, in particular the cold, as known as cold urticaria. Antihistamines can be used to block cold and urticaria. How? It's okay. I'll leave it alone, as they're triggered by histamine release. Okay, so it is the cold that causes histamine release. So you use the antihistamine to block it. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go with that. I'm going to accept it. I'm going to run along with it, and I'm going to forget all that we were talking about before with the exercise-induced urticaria, right? We're just gonna say we're looking at the difference between hives and rashes, right? That's where we are right now. Forget what we were talking about earlier, just for a moment. Now you can go back to it later on your own, but for this moment. Studies, finally, have pointed to a link between stress, exacerbated skin conditions, and inflammation. So, attempts to lessen stress certainly cannot hurt. Well, definitely might help. Now, rashes, their treatment depends on the type of rash and what is causing it. They can be treated in many ways, but differ depending on the cause. Most often, a topical steroid is used to help, but this isn't always the case. If the rash is caused by something the person came in contact with, then that is what needs to be removed. Because some rashes are caused by an illness or infection, by contrast, the rash won't go away until the underlying issue is identified. The illness or infection needs to be treated, and the rash will usually resolve with that. Treating a rash is best done under the care of an experienced medical provider. The rash must be correctly identified and diagnosed in order to treat it appropriately. Treatments can vary from as simple as avoidance of triggers to systemic medications and even more intensive testing. Dr. Segal emphasizes that a correct diagnosis is essential to finding your best treatment option. Inappropriate treatment can worsen certain conditions rather than improving them. Now, of course, there are skin problems that can cause disease and such and things like that, but I'm going to stop there with the information and we'll just use that to differentiate between hives and rashes so that we can kind of have an idea of what is happening with exercise-induced urticaria or exercise-induced hives, because urticaria is a scientific name for hive, not rash. Are you confused yet? If you are, don't worry about it. My job is not to ease your confusion. My job is to stimulate your appetite, not satisfy your hunger. So, go on. Go ye therefore and seek more information. And when you find something, use up my telephone number, 773-789-STEW. Shoot me a text, give me a call, send me an email if that's what works for you. But connect with me. Hit me up on social media. All my contact information is on my website, kevinstew.com. Tell me what you found. Let's talk about it. I've presented to you some of the things that I have found. Now, I've started the dialogue. Let's keep it going.
Now here comes another musical transmission.
As we go into musical therapy, courtesy of McNeil Trucking. This is Marty Dread, working out with President Brown, kicking off musical therapy. It's called No to Monsanto.
Say we're living in a crucial time, Mother Nature in serious decline, not to mention the war and crime, millions of people in need.
You're the one say,
more people than we can feed, couple that with their corporate greed, monopolizing the food we eat, time for the people to see. First they tried to kill the weed, now they want to control the seeds. We say no, no, no to Monsanto. Monsanto. Hey, this is deeper than dollars and cents. Mr. Politician got no common sense. They're sowing seeds of pestilence. Revolution is sure to follow. Revolution. So we are here to say it's time to go. You and your bloody GMO. It may be a David and Goliath thing. We will protest and we will sing. No, no, say no. No to Monsanto. Everybody say no, no, no to Monsanto. I hear my people say, we say no, no, no to Monsanto. Everybody say no, no, no to Monsanto. They got it go. They got the vocal sound. Chant them down. Like how David's to Goliath with a sling and a stone. Songs of rebellion. Play this on the station. Inform the nation. Rock the situation. Call to action. Immediate attention is needed. Together as one. We the people got the right to live. People want to live without being a science project or a guinea pig. They say no food shall be grown that they don't own. We come together, chant them down. We say no, no, no to Monsanto. Everybody say no, no, no to Monsanto. They got it go. No, no, they say no to Monsanto. Say no, ever, ever, never, ever let down your guard. No, no.
This is Roger and I.
You ever let down your guard.
Track calls Don't Let Down Your Guard.
You ever let down your guard.
You need to be aware of what is happening, you know. Pay attention to what's going on with your body.
Down your guard.
That way you can talk to your doctors and say, hey, listen, whenever I do this, this is what is going on.
No, 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 no. Living your eyes in hypocritical matters. Hypocrisy rule was overshadowing the truth. Fighting this battle mentally and physically. Segregation is us from rallying the truth. Look all around you, there's a war going on. It's all the rich oppress the poor, and this I just cannot ignore. Press for the mark and keep your eyes on the goal. It is in every trouble that we regain full control. And don't you ever let down your guard. And it don't matter what they did and say, don't you ever let down your guard. Stop living your life the Babylonian way. Don't you ever let down your guard. We burn out the Edens like every day. Don't you ever let down your guards. No, 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 no. They are headed for a systematic meltdown, and there's nothing they can do to stop the movement of time. Transformation, days are changing the weather. So the energy is off, and so it's not get no better. Running around as if they are the creators of it all. It won't be long before Babylon falls. Crumbling down, see their destruction will be of their own. Don't you get caught in this Babylon zone. And don't you ever let down your guard. And no matter what they eat and say, don't you ever let down your guard. I'm living your life the Babylonian way. Don't you ever let down your guard. We burn out the Edens like every day. Don't you ever let down your guards. No, 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 no. Don't you get caught up and get caught up now. You, no matter where they want to go. True, that time will soon come like a rose in the winter. They're withering
This is the sound of Zapology.
Just another midnight.
It's called Midnight.
And I feel like crying. Just another midnight. Bustling. Just a little fuss around the corner. Just another midnight. Bustling. Oh, I'm gonna fix it in the morning. What's to be has got to be. And if you rule your destiny, and you can fight and find your way, you live to fight another day, another midnight. Bustling. Oh, we are gonna fix it in the morning. It's another midnight. Bustling. Oh, I gonna fix it while you're waiting. Just another midnight. Bustling. Just a little fuss around the corner. Just another midnight. Bustling. Oh, I gonna fix it in the morning. Rise and face reality. Rise up and decide your destiny. And rise and let's get serious. Rise and don't be envious. Another midnight. Bustling. Oh, we are gonna fix it in the morning. Just another midnight. Bustling. Oh, I'm gonna fix it while you're waiting. Another midnight. Bustling. Just a little fuss around the corner. Just another midnight. Bustling. Oh, I'm gonna fix it in the morning. Oh, get up and stand up and make me all tonight. Get up, stand up and make me live as one. Oh, you forget up, stand up and make me work together. Oh, get up and stand up and stop killing you, brother. Another midnight. Bustling. Another human dying. Just another midnight. Bustling. Oh, I'm gonna fix it while you're waiting. Midnight. Midnight. Bustling.
This is the sound of Ginger.
They don't feel secure.
The track is called Struggling.
Every day the people them struggling. Prescription fulfill can't buy medicine. Wonder why the people them struggling. Lord, this a system too stifling. Every day the people them struggling. Prescription fulfill can't buy medicine. Wonder why the people them struggling. Lord, this a system too stifling. Stop my breath, set up my life. Why is it I can't be right? You do what's wrong, we pay the price. Crucified like a Christ. Man make money, all comes we don't have any. Yeah. Don't you think that's funny? Good doing some bugs funny. Yeah. Every day the people they struggling. Prescription fulfill can't buy medicine. Wonder why the people they struggling. Lord, this a system too stifling. Every day the
This is the sound of Zeno.
Cause I'm getting out of here.
Track called Freedom.
Wanna be with my sisters and brothers, and there's somewhere out there. So freedom, freedom island, freedom. That place is for I man. Freedom, freedom island, freedom. No man has the power to talk me out of this. Made up my mind and I've got to push on. Anyone else out there hear the voice calling? Please prepare, 'cause we're leaving in the morning. Yeah, freedom, freedom island, freedom. That place is for I man. Freedom, freedom island, freedom. That place is for every man. See, I don't wanna waste no more time. Yeah, all I wanna do is live a life. I used to enjoy life like this. Felt it was okay to be materialistic. Now I've come to a realization that there's a better place, a better land. Yeah, freedom, freedom island, freedom. That place is for I man.
Can't take my eyes off you. You know that I love you, lady. I can't stop thinking of you. You know that I want you, girl. I can't take my eyes off you. You know that I love you, lady. I can't stop thinking of you. And girl, I love you. Yeah. Pretty brown eyes, can it be mine? I've been waiting for a long, long time. Girl, it's so fine. Spare me some time so I can say what's on my mind. And from the first time I saw your face, I know that this was meant to be. Girl, you are the one for me. So why can't we just let it be? 'Cause I can't take my eyes off you. You know that I love you, lady. I can't stop thinking of you. Girl, I love you.
This is the sound of singing sweet.
Can't take my eyes off you.
The track is called Love Is Real.
Lady, I can't stop thinking of you. Girl, I love you. Far away, lady, where the sun meet the sea. Only me and you, lady. It's no fantasy, no. What a joy it will be in this life, luxury.
You know, it's serious when someone stays that focused, right? That causes a different kind of allergic reaction. Swelling skin in kind of obscure places, you know what I mean?
Hey, we are jumping to some old rusty ragga style now.
As we close out the night shift tonight,
Rastafari,
going through this musical therapy. This is Junior Wonder.
Not because you kill a black brother.
A track called I and I.
You feel so you figure. Not because you slice up your sister.
I want to thank you, each and every one, for passing through. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for sharing. Do remember, tomorrow I'm back. All things being well. With real talk. And I do invite y'all to be a part of it. Call your friends, friends of your friends, friends of your enemies, enemies of your friends, and your enemies too. Tell everybody. The night shift to DJ Kevin Stew happens on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment. If you come here and you leave here asking more questions than you came with, no worries. That's exactly what's supposed to happen. My job is to stimulate your appetite, not satisfy your hunger. And as you leave here hungry, do remember to look out for members of your community. Remember, your community is not just a development that you live in, but it spreads far and wide. So those that you pass on the bus, on the plane, the boat, or the train, whether you walk, ride, or drive, these are members of your community. Do something good for one of them today, because you never know who's going to do something good for you tomorrow. My name is DJ Kevin Stew. This is how I like to do it to you, for you, and with you every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here at kevinstew.com on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Thank you to my affiliates. Thank you to my sponsors. The affiliates all over: One Harmony Radio, NIE Radio, Island Worldwide, WGLRO, Oliwap Radio, Dusik Media Group, PEMGTV.com, Zeno FM, Get the Stew Pot. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world, from right here in South Florida. I bid you all a good night. Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the stew pot, where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The night shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.